politics like that.
Nope.
It's not good for the country. Who does that? Yeah, your team got an offense and a defense. They're not supposed to be enemies. The enemy is the other side.
Six.
Never talk about it. I'm not that controversial.
Bring their ass here and start building them desks and stuff in America, because he's going to make America great again. Let's go, Donald Trump!
Steve Harvey might have just met his match this time. And it's not from a gossip page or some messy rumor mill. It's from the one man who never bites his tongue, Katt Williams. When Katt talks, the whole internet stops scrolling. This wasn't a comedy routine or some clever punchline. This was war on the mic. During his raw and unfiltered sit-down on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe, Katt went off like never before. No filters, no jokes, just cold truth, exposing fake friendships, shady deals, and stolen material running deep in the comedy game. But the moment he dropped Steve Harvey's name, the entire room froze.
President Trump was accommodating.
Katt didn't sugarcoat a thing. He said, "You can't call yourself a king of comedy when your whole career is built on stealing from other comedians." Boom! That line hit harder than a mic drop. No jokes, no laughter, just a heavy dose of truth. And the internet? It went wild. Timelines lit up, old clips resurfaced, and fans started connecting dots like detectives. To really get why this shook the culture, you gotta rewind a bit. Steve Harvey wasn't always the flashy, suit-wearing, big-smiling TV host we see today. Back in the day, he was a broke stand-up comic living out his car, hustling from gig to gig, doing whatever it took to make it. In the late 90s, he joined forces with Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer, and D.L. Hewley for the legendary Kings of Comedy tour. They changed the game, selling out arenas and rewriting comedy history overnight. But Katt dropped the bomb, saying Steve didn't build his empire, he borrowed it. And in comedy, that's the worst kind of betrayal.
I'm gonna give the man this. The man was very congenial.
Stealing another man's jokes? That's crossing a sacred line, and Katt made sure the world heard it loud and clear. And let's not forget, this ain't the first time Steve's been accused. Years ago, even Mark Curry, the dude from Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, called him out too. Mark Curry didn't hold back when he called Steve Harvey out for straight up stealing his routines. He said one day he turned on the Steve Harvey show and nearly fell out his chair, because what he saw on screen were his own jokes, his own characters, his own punchlines, copied word for word. When he tried confronting Steve, Curry claims Steve just laughed it off and said, "That's show business." That one moment told every comedian in the room exactly what kind of game Steve was playing. It wasn't just inspiration, it was straight up reputation theft. According to insiders, Steve wasn't just hustling. He was allegedly flipping other people's work into fame for himself. So when Katt Williams brought this whole situation back up, it wasn't random shade. It was long overdue payback. Katt's been around long enough to see who's genuine and who's been faking their way to the top, and he's done staying quiet about it. Then came the bombshell line that shut the internet down. Katt said, "You can't preach about God on TV when you've been playing dirty behind the scenes." That one hit like a thunderclap. Fans couldn't stop sharing it because that's exactly what people have been whispering for years. The double life between motivational Steve and industry Steve. And Katt wasn't lying. Steve's got a history that fans seem to forget way too easily. The messy divorce, the rumors of cheating, and those leaked emails where he told his own staff, "Don't talk to me. Don't approach me. Don't look at me."
Show me what he's done for black people so I can understand, because right now I don't.
All right. Go on and collect.
Kamala Harris for president.
Steve Harvey might have finally met his match, because this time...
That don't sound like the smiling morning host we see on TV, does it? Katt said it best. Steve's real gift ain't comedy, it's manipulation. He used charm, faith, and smooth talk to climb the ladder while stepping on everyone who helped him get there. And here's where things got wild. Katt didn't just talk, he brought receipts. He took it all the way back to the Kings of Comedy days, saying Bernie Mac was the real people's king. The funniest, the most genuine, the one who didn't have to fake a thing to make folks laugh. But according to Katt, Hollywood wasn't ready for someone that raw, that real. They wanted a safe, polished face they could control. And that's where Steve Harvey came in. That statement hit deep. fans have always felt Bernie Mac never got the flowers he truly deserved, especially after his passing. When Bernie died, Steve didn't just keep the tour alive, he slid right into that king's seat like the crown had his name on it. No hesitation, no tribute, just position filled, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Even D.L. Hewley once hinted that Bernie and Steve weren't seeing eye to eye near the end, said they had creative differences. But now, after Katt's explosive words, people are starting to think those differences were way deeper than anyone knew, because Katt flat out said it. Steve used Bernie's death as a way to rewrite comedy history. He made it sound like Steve saw an open lane, took the spotlight, and never looked back. That cut fans to the core because Bernie Mac wasn't just a comedian. He was a symbol of truth, humility, and realness. The thought of someone profiting off that legacy, it made people furious. Then Katt flipped the script and came for Steve's entire TV image, that smooth-talking host, that so-called relationship guru, the self-proclaimed man of wisdom who tells women how to find good men. Katt basically said, behind the suits and sermons, Steve's been playing a whole different game. Katt didn't pull any punches. He straight up called Steve Harvey a hypocrite. He said, "How can you teach morals when your whole career's been built on taking from others?" That hit hard. The same man preaching about loyalty, faith, and success was now being accused of doing the total opposite behind closed doors. And once those words hit the internet, it blew up fast. Clips from Katt's interview started flooding TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube like wildfire. The reactions were split down the middle. Half the crowd said Katt was just bitter, but the other half said, "Finally." Somebody said what we've all been thinking. Because truth be told, this wasn't hate. It was exposure. Katt said when the money started rolling in, Steve switched up. He went full corporate, started acting brand new, and distanced himself from the same comedians who came up grinding just like he did.
Kamala Harris and the Democratic plantation is paying you celebrities, paying you to shame black people into voting. Y'all know we not going to get.
Katt dropped another dagger. Steve ain't one of us anymore. He's a brand. That one line cut deep because Steve built his whole career on being the relatable guy, the man who made it from nothing. But Katt flipped that whole story on its head. He painted Steve as the total opposite, a man who sold his soul for fame and left behind the culture that made him. For years, Steve's been untouchable, the funny uncle, the family man, the face of positivity. But Katt's words cracked that perfect image wide open. Fans started digging through old interviews, pulling up past talk show moments, analyzing fake smiles, and catching those slick little jabs Steve threw at other comedians. And once the internet starts connecting dots, it's over. No PR statement, no motivational monologue can clean that up. As Katt's interview kept trending, social media went crazy. People were demanding that networks hold Steve accountable. Some even said he deserves the same downfall other fake nice hosts faced once their real selves got exposed. What made this whole situation different was that it wasn't some Hollywood rumor or internet hate train. This was an industry veteran calling Steve Harvey out for being fake. Katt Williams walked the same grind, survived the same hustle, and that's what made his words cut so deep. For the first time in decades, people started wondering if Steve's whole motivational man of God image was just a mask hiding something darker. The backlash hit like a tidal wave. Fans flooded timelines with old clips, moments where Steve talked down to guests, threw slick shade at other comedians, and let that friendly uncle act slip. Suddenly, that million-dollar smile didn't feel so genuine anymore. People started saying he'd been playing nice for the cameras while his ego was doing the talking behind the scenes. And the drama didn't just stay online. Word spread that producers were quietly getting nervous, whispering that Steve's upcoming shows might be reviewed.
Same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business, and it's a man unit. People, he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the story.
Networks didn't want that smoke. They didn't want to stand next to a man the internet was labeling a Hollywood phony. And while the executives scrambled to protect their brand, Katt Williams just sat back, calm, collected, and silent. No tweets, no apologies, just letting the chaos speak louder than words. Now, to be fair, this ain't Steve's first public storm. Remember the Miss Universe disaster? Or those leaked emails where he told staff not to even look at him? Or the backlash he caught after defending controversial celebrities? Every single time, he bounced back with the same formula. Flash that big smile, talk about God's plan, drop a few motivational quotes, and move on like nothing ever happened. But this time, it feels different. But this time, that old strategy ain't working. Because this time, it's not the media coming for Steve Harvey. It's someone from inside his own world saying, "You've been fake since day one." And that hits different. When it's your peers, not haters, not gossip blogs, exposing your true character, that's a whole new battlefield. Fans started digging deep, pulling out every receipt they could find. Old interviews resurfaced, moments where other comedians threw subtle shade at Steve, and people finally started reading between the lines. Some clips even showed Bernie Mac looking tense on stage with him. What once seemed like brotherly chemistry now looked like quiet discomfort. Suddenly, that king of comedy unity felt more like silent rivalry. Then the internet brought back Monique's old interview, the one where she said Steve betrayed her just to stay in Hollywood's good graces. She claimed Steve told her straight up, "It's not about integrity, it's about the money game." Back then, people brushed it off as just drama, but now, that quote's everywhere. And it fits perfectly with what Katt just said. It's like the puzzle finally started making sense, piece by piece, right in front of everyone's eyes. Katt didn't just diss Steve, he dismantled him. He called him a Hollywood puppet, clowned his acting career, and even dragged his most famous movie, saying, "Think like a man?" Please, Steve's been pretending his whole life. And what shook people the most wasn't the insult. It was the tone.
Here in this country, Donald Trump is not going to be that bad. Don't run.
Katt didn't sound angry. He wasn't shouting or ranting. He was calm, composed, and deadly serious. Like a man who'd been holding it in for years and finally let it all out. The audience didn't laugh because it was funny. They laughed because it was true. That kind of honesty cuts deeper than any punchline. And ever since that moment, Steve's been unusually quiet. No talk show segment to clap back, no long motivational speech, no post defending his name, just silence. And in Hollywood, silence that loud usually means the damage is already done. Insiders say Steve Harvey's been furious behind the scenes, calling emergency meetings, demanding crisis management plans, trying to figure out how to flip the story before it's too late. But here's the problem. How do you fix something when people just don't believe you anymore? You can't rebrand your way out of truth once the public's lost faith. Katt Williams didn't just damage Steve's image, he hit his credibility, and that's something no fame or fortune can buy back. You can lose fans, you can lose deals, even networks. But once people stop believing your story, your legacy starts falling apart. And that's exactly what's happening now. The same fans who once quoted Steve's daily words of wisdom are now clowning those same clips, calling them Hollywood lies wrapped in Bible verses. The shift is real, and it's brutal. Even comedians who used to show Steve love are keeping their distance. The vibe around his name changed. It's not admiration anymore, it's doubt. And the craziest part? Steve once predicted this exact moment himself. Years ago, he said, "If you live long enough, the truth about you will come out. Make sure you can live with it." Now, those same words are haunting him because that truth is finally here. Through Katt, through Monique, through old interviews and resurfaced footage. It's all coming full circle. Steve built his empire preaching about being real, staying humble, and trusting God. But now everyone's asking if he ever practiced what he preached. And then came the moment that really flipped the internet upside down. Katt didn't sound angry or petty. He sounded disappointed. He said, "I respect real. Even if you don't like me, keep it real. But don't act holy when your whole career's built on hustle and hypocrisy." That statement didn't explode with noise. It echoed with truth. The internet went silent for a second before the shockwaves hit. Because Katt wasn't trying to destroy Steve. He was exposing the blueprint. He was holding a mirror up to Hollywood itself, showing everyone what happens when fake success gets worshipped and realness gets pushed aside. Now the ripple effect is insane. Steve Harvey's empire might still be standing, but you can feel it shaking. Talk shows, Game shows, brand deals, everything's under pressure. Networks are watching closely, fans are debating nonstop, and comedians are side-eyeing from the sidelines. For years, Steve represented the dream, the man who came from nothing and built an empire. But now the question everyone's asking is, at what cost? Because Katt Williams didn't just attack Steve, he cracked open a bigger conversation. A conversation about how Hollywood keeps rewarding image over integrity. This whole scandal proved one thing: a spotless reputation can flip in a heartbeat. Once people start connecting the dots, it's game over because the internet never forgets and the receipts are endless. Katt didn't come to clown around. He came for truth, and that's exactly why the world can't stop talking right now.
Ain't for sale. We bartering on business. We standing on business. Bring us some tangibles or get out of my face. Only carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Can we please?
Steve Harvey's empire might still look shiny from the outside. The polished TV shows, the fancy brand deals, the clean-cut image. But behind the scenes, things are cracking. Networks are nervous. Sponsors are watching closely. And the public's trust is fading faster by the day. This isn't just another celebrity caught slipping moment. This feels like a full-blown reckoning. Because when someone like Katt Williams, a comedian known for standing on truth, steps up and calls you out in front of millions, that's a hit you don't easily recover from. Katt didn't just hurt Steve's feelings, he hit him right where it counts most, his credibility. And that's one thing you can't fake, buy, or rebuild once it's gone. What's wild is how deep the irony runs. For years, Steve was treated like comedy royalty, the ultimate success story. He went from sleeping in his car to running multiple TV empires, writing best-selling books, and preaching positivity like a modern-day motivator. He told people how to live right, love right, and stay humble. But now that the mask's been ripped off, fans are asking the real question: did that wisdom come from experience or just smooth talk backed by a strong PR team? Katt Williams said it straight. Steve ain't one of us no more. He's a brand. And when you really think about it, he's right. The man who once stood for every hustler grinding their way out the mud has now turned into Hollywood's favorite poster boy for family-friendly fame. But the more polished Steve got, the less real he seemed. Fans online are saying it feels like the whole illusion just shattered right in front of them. All those emotional speeches, those God's plan monologues, now they look like carefully rehearsed performances. Katt even dropped a cold line saying, "God don't like ugly, but he sure got patience." And that quote went viral instantly because it summed up everything perfectly. Maybe the truth just took a while to catch up. But now that patience finally ran out. And the internet? Once it turns on you, it's ruthless. Fans who used to ride for Steve are now posting side-by-side clips, his motivational speeches next to the accusations flying his way. They're calling him out for hypocrisy, saying he used religion as a marketing tool. One viral post even said, "Steve's whole career been one long sermon about integrity, while he's been out here playing Hollywood chess behind the curtain." That line hit the internet like a lightning bolt. It's like people woke up overnight and realized they'd been watching an act all along. But the wildest part is, Katt didn't just call out Steve Harvey, he exposed a pattern running through all of Hollywood. He said this industry loves to reward fake smiles and safe personalities over real ones. They pick who they can control, polish them up, and push them to the front. While the genuine ones, the truth tellers, the ones like Bernie Mac, Monique, and even Katt himself, get pushed aside, blacklisted, or buried under bad reputation labels. Katt didn't just snatch Steve's mask. He ripped open the whole system for everyone to see. Katt Williams made one thing clear. In Hollywood, being too real can get you sidelined. He flipped the mirror straight back on the system, and Steve Harvey just happened to be the perfect example of that double standard. Now, the online debate is wild. Fans are clashing in comment sections asking, is Steve just another fallen idol, or was he never real to begin with?
This is sad. We've never been here before. Be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good, baby, and look like Mr. Potato. Ever been at the point where neither option is good for us in real life?
No.
This is a different conversation. This is, would you rather go back with your ex or would you rather go back?
Some people still defend him, saying he earned his spot, paid his dues, and built his empire from the ground up. But others aren't buying it. They say that charm was always just a cover, a slick disguise for ambition that left too many people behind. And no matter which side you're on, one thing's crystal clear. That untouchable Uncle Steve image will never be the same again. You can feel the energy shift across the culture. People are done with motivational talk from folks who don't live by their own words. Fans want realness now. Unfiltered, raw, honest truth. No more polished perfection, no more rehearsed wisdom. That's why Katt's interview hit so hard. It didn't feel like gossip, it felt like a reality check. He didn't scream, he didn't chase clout, he just spoke the truth. And truth has a funny way of sticking, no matter how hard folks try to bury it. Meanwhile, insiders say Steve's team is panicking. They're canceling appearances, rewriting PR scripts, and drawing up damage control plans like it's a war room. But how do you fix something when the whole world's already seen behind the curtain? You can't unsee authenticity once it's exposed. And now, every second Steve stays silent, the rumors only get louder. People are starting to think that silence equals guilt. The longer this drags on, the harder it's going to be for him to ever rebuild that trust. Because once the internet decides your realness was an act, it's game over. Fans ain't forgetting this one anytime soon, not when the mask came off this dramatically. At this point, the receipts are everywhere. Social media is flooded with proof, clips, and side-by-side comparisons. It's not even about who's right or wrong anymore. It's about how public perception works now. The internet doesn't wait for explanations or apologies. Once you lose the crowd, it's game over. Katt Williams didn't just shake Steve Harvey's image, he shook the entire entertainment world. He showed that even the most polished stars can't hide behind a smile forever. Because here's the truth has no expiration date. It might take time, but it always shows up, loud and undeniable. And maybe that's the real message behind all this. It's not about tearing down legends. It's about reminding people that fame doesn't equal honesty. No matter how high you climb, the truth always finds your address. Steve's empire might survive this storm, but his image? It'll never be spotless again. He's no longer the untouchable mentor or the wise motivational figure. Now he's just another man caught up in his own contradictions, facing the same judgment he used to preach about. Katt didn't destroy Steve Harvey, he revealed him. And now the whole world's looking at both men differently. One silent and scrambling for control, the other calm, standing firm on truth, knowing he just said what had to be said. Whatever happens next, one thing's certain. This moment changed the game. It changed comedy, it changed Hollywood, and it changed how fans see their so-called heroes forever. So tell me, do you think Steve Harvey can bounce back from this? Or did Katt Williams just pull off the biggest exposure of the year? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video because this story's far from over and you don't want to miss what's coming next.